I'm a big bowl game fan. I've always liked bowl games. I think the idea that there being football, no matter who's playing it, whether it's the MAC versus the Sun Belt Conference USA versus Mountain West, I don't care. The idea that there would be a football game at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, the week between Christmas and New Year's, has always been awesome to me. And I'll never be one of the there are too many bowl people, because if the options are bowl game or the young and the restless, I'm going to choose bowl game. And I don't think there's that much argument about it. But I'm worried about the future of bowl games with an expanded college football playoff. And the kind of leaping off point of that is the Bahamas Bowl announced today that it's not going to be in the Bahamas in 2025, which sort of defeats the purpose of calling it the Bahamas Bowl. But that's neither here nor there. It's going to be the second time in the last couple of years that the Bahamas Bowl is not going to be in the Bahamas. Now, first of all, I've always been kind of flabbergasted that the Bahamas Bowl never really took off, because no offense, actually plenty of offense to like Birmingham, Mobile, Jacksonville, Boise, Idaho, El Paso, Albuquerque. Wouldn't you rather go to the Bahamas in December? Doesn't that seem like a really enticing place to go to? Now, I understand getting to the Bahamas might not be the most economically feasible on just a couple of weeks' notice. So I get that. But from a player's perspective, wouldn't you rather play in the Bahamas Bowl if the, college football playoff, if the Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, wouldn't you rather play in the Bahamas Bowl than pretty much anywhere else? If your options are, we can play a Power 5 team in the Pinstripe Bowl or Fenway Bowl, or play UMass in the Bahamas Bowl, that's a really simple choice for me, but I'm not a 18 to 22-year-old kid, so Bahamas Bowl rocks, first of all. Like the whole vibe of the inaugural Bahamas Bowl, if you've never read the college football subreddit story about the initial Bahamas Bowl, you should, because it's wild, and that's what college football bowl games should be. But if a bowl game that happens in a tropical location like that isn't fully sustainable, isn't really viable, I would have to question what the future of games that happen in locations that I just mentioned, or games that happen in Detroit, or other locations that aren't super enticing for fans or players to get to. Now, I recognize some of those bowls are owned by ESPN, and as long as ESPN is showing sports at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday between Christmas and New Year's, those bowl games are probably going to exist. But I just wonder if the focus being on the college football playoff, and not even just the focus being there, but the extreme focus being put on the college football playoff. Like, there are old people who will tell you that, the NIT is a very prestigious event. Like, no, it's not. It's not. Congratulations on being the best team that didn't make the NCAA tournament. Nobody cares. And I don't necessarily want bowl games to be that. I don't want bowl games to be, yeah, but you didn't make the college football playoff, because for some schools, making the college football playoff is about as likely as me bumping uglies with Selma Hayek. Like, sure, would it be cool? And am I going to put all of my eggs and devote all of my efforts to ever doing it? No. But it's just never going to happen for me, and that's okay. For some schools, no matter what they do, even if they pour resources into NIL facilities, the right coach, they're just not going to the college football playoff. And that's okay, as long as you recognize that and your fans don't get your coach fired or whatever. Like, it's just not realistic. And so playing in a nice bowl game in a nice location is kind of like the top where you can get to. That's the best you can do. And if that's taken away because the focus is so deeply on the college football playoff, who's going to make the college football playoff, what the format looks like, what the seating should look like, who should and shouldn't get guaranteed invites, etc. I don't want college football to turn into that. I like the wacky, zany, somewhat ridiculous matchups that you get in bowl season. And those are becoming increasingly rare because Power 4 schools don't want to be looped in with Group of 5 schools on the off chance that a Group of 5 school beats them in the Popeyes Chicken Bowl and they look stupid. So they're doing away with those. I want to see those come back. I want to see matchups that you would never see in locations that are somewhat interesting at times that you wouldn't expect college football games to be happening. And players balling out in sometimes their last opportunities to play football or in an opportunity to get some NIL money from another school before they enter the transfer portal. I don't think that's an unreasonable ask. So I'm worried about the future of college football bowl games because I don't want them to go away, but I also recognize their importance, or maybe more importantly, their lack of importance in the overall landscape today. So I don't know how you go about inflating those games that if you don't make college football playoff, you're disappointed or you lack motivation. I don't want them necessarily to become a quasi spring game either. So I don't have the answers. And I recognize that not having the answer sucks because anybody can just sit here and bitch. Anybody can sit here and complain. But if you don't have a way to improve it, you're not doing a whole lot. But I just know, and I don't think I'm alone in this. I think there are lots of college football fans who would like to see bowl games continue to have some relevance, some importance, strictly because they're in the same boat as me. If you have to choose between the Young and the Restless or the Hungry Howie's Pizza Bowl in Detroit, let's go ahead and do that then. That's just my view on it. I want to know your thoughts. Do you think bowl games still matter outside of the college football playoff? Do you want to see Group of 5 versus Power 5 games? Do you want to see the best of the rest? Those schools who didn't make the college football playoff go up against one another in a quasi-NIT style tournament. Should there be a college football NIT instead of bowl games? I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. That'll do it for today's episode of the Daily Huddle. I appreciate you making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you get all the great college football content we're pumping out. If you're listening on the podcast feed, drop a 5-star review. It goes a long way in helping out the channel. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Daily Huddle.